What's poppin'? Long overdue. I decided to record my VSG journey. Um, I'm a procrastinator. Big procrastinator. I've been supposed to recording. I was going to start recording when I started the process back in September of last year. Um, it's been a long journey. So I'm going to start with just basically talking about like what made me want to get the surgery, how I went about it, different things like that. So let me see. In August 29th, I remember like basically talking to myself and just basically asking like what's stopping me from like pursuing this. A lot of people were shocked when I told them that I wanted to get the procedure done. Others were really supportive. Most of the people were basically like in awe that I was doing it, especially because it wasn't something I was very vocal about, and a lot of people were worried about the surgery, and a lot of people was like, you don't need the surgery, you're beautiful how you are, yada yada yada. So let me back up. I'm getting the vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery, also known as the VSG or weight loss surgery. So anyways, I've been wanting the surgery for years. I never really was financially stable enough to do it. Also, the younger I was, I've always been a manager, and I've always had benefits, but the younger I was, I really didn't take advantage of the benefits because I was more like, I need to get on my paycheck. So the older I got, I started to see the importance of benefits, and so I ended up getting them probably around 24 maybe? No, I'm 28 now. So, yeah. So now I'm financially able as well as I have really good benefits. So I started to be more vocal about it at the beginning of last year, 2018. Just kind of telling people that I was really close to, and they were like, girl, you don't need it, you know, blah, 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 etc. So, let's turn it. Right. So, yeah, I was more vocal to the people I was really close to, like my best friends and different things like that. And I kept saying, I'm going to get it. And they kept being like, girl, whatever. So I remember one day, I was like, what's stopping you? Like, there's no reason. So I ended up getting a piece of paper and a pen, and I literally Googled, like, weight loss surgeons throughout the Metroplex. And I came up with a paper, like, the entire paper was full of, like, contacts. It was probably, like, 8 contacts on there, like, 8 different doctors, 8 different surgeons. And so I started calling different doctors. Some of them were, like, standalone doctors. Some of them were more, like, hospitals. And so, like, some people set me up on appointments via the telephone. Some told me to come in. Some emailed me, like, packets to fill out. So I was doing it. And then I ended up, like, the second to the last contact was Dr. Gonzalez at Medical City. And so I ended up calling there, and the receptionist was pretty nice. And she was like, let's set you up for an appointment. So I was like, okay. So I went in for the appointment for my consultation. Well, I started looking up doctors on August 29th. I went in for my first consultation September 11th. And I remember pulling up to this hospital and was like second guessing it, like, am I doing the right thing? You know? And so I just kept telling myself, it's a consultation. If you don't like it, if you're not getting good vibes, then just leave. So I ended up going in, and I'm a really observant person. So I kind of was like observing things as soon as I walked in. So it was inside of a hospital. It's inside of Medical City. But my doctor has his own like office on the 6th floor. So I went in, and like as soon as I sat down, they gave me like a whole shit ton of paperwork to fill out. And she was like, fill this out while we check and see how much your copay is. I was like, okay. So I ended up filling out the paperwork, and I was kind of observing like my surroundings, and it was weird, but it was inviting. Like everybody, the nurses and everybody that was there was like really, really nice to like all of their clients or patients. There was one lady, a black lady. She was in there. Think I think she had already had her surgery. And she had her baby with her, and they were really nice to her. And they was like, oh my God, it's nice to meet him. And they were on a first name basis with her. Like, she was on a first name basis with them. And she was like, I'm sorry, y'all. You know, my babysitter bailed last minute. And they were like, no, it's fine. Like, they were super understanding. They were so nice. Then another lady was there. She had just signed up like me, and they were super nice to her. Like, every person that was there, they were, like, really nice too. And I was like, okay. I don't really feel like I'm at a doctor. I kind of feel like I'm at like a friend's place. They were super cool. So Renee was the lady I met first. She was the one who was doing my paperwork and everything. And so I filled out the paperwork, and I was still nervous. So she told me my copay was $200. I was like, if that's the copay, in my head I was like, damn, if that's the copay. So I was like, all right, like, you want to do this, you gonna do it. So I was like, okay. So I gave her my card. She swiped it. Boom. So I'm texting like, dang, I just had to pay $200 on my copay. So I was texting my friend at the time. She was like, I mean, well, shit, you know, like, you gotta do what you gotta do. So I ended up getting called to the back. They weighed me and did everything like that. And that's when I met Stormy, which was like nurse aide. So she was talking to me. She was super cool, like super cool. And we kicked it off really fast. And so she got me set up. And so she put me in a room. And then that's when I met Dr. Gonzalez, which is my doctor. And he introduced himself. We talked briefly. He asked me why I wanted to get the surgery. He, you know, told me basically like he and his clients, like, it's more of an educational thing for him. So even after the surgery, you're required to come back and stuff like that. And so we were talking, and he was like, yeah, okay, Stormy's going to get you set up with your paperwork and your dates and everything. So in my head, I was like, this is really happening. So Stormy came in the room, and she was like, come with me. So I ended up going with her to like her office area. And so inside of her office area, like, she had like papers like already printed up and organized for me. So one of the papers was like dates and different things you have to do. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt. Like, you basically have to do X, Y, and Z before you even can get approved by your insurance. So, I mean, I knew it was going to be some things because I have a friend who went through it, and she kind of prepped me a little bit. So that was September 11th. I went in. I came back on September 25th, and that's when she had all the other paperwork for me. So that was just it was a piece of paper, and it basically had like, I have to go visit with a psychologist for a psych eval. I had to do a cardio test. I had to get an EGD where they stick a monitor down your stomach to monitor things. I had to do a sleep study test. I had to go to a seminar with my doctor and nurses. I had to do a food and nutrition class with my dietitian. So yeah, so it's a lot of stuff to do. So October 4th was when I did the first thing. That was when I did my stress test. No, I think before that, early in October, because that day we went to the fair, we had the seminar. So the seminar was a 2-hour-long seminar where he basically like had a big slideshow presentation of what he was doing. You could bring your significant other or your support system. And basically during the seminar, it was me and another lady who was getting hers, and she was with her husband. And so it was probably like 3.5 hours long. And so he talked, and the nurses came out, and they told me like the different things that I can have during my pre-op diet and different things like that. So then that was that. So then later in October, I did my cardio test and my stress test, which basically The first part of it was me laying down and the nurse just like scoping out my body for any blood clots that I have and different things like that. And then the second part was when they put my heart to a stress test. So they put me on, I didn't know what the heck I was doing this whole procedure. They put me on this bike and hook all these monitors up to my chest. I had like probably 7 or 8. And like they had me breathing through this thing, doing different breathing exercises. And while they were doing that, I was on a bike going a certain amount. Like they basically they put my heart to a test, because during the surgery, like when they're cutting you open, your body is not used to that. So your heart's gonna start racing. So they want to make sure you can handle that. So I did that. Records came back good. November 11th. Which I was told that I took my time with this. Like most people do this in like 2 months. I stretched it out. November 11th, I did my EGD, which I went to the hospital. And it was at Medical City. And I showed up. It wasn't even a whole day surgery. It was a couple hours. They took me to the back. They got a urine sample. They was trying to draw blood, but they could not find my vein for nothing. So the guy was doing that for the longest. He finally found a vein. And so then I had to wait for them to put the medicine in to get me to go to sleep. So they rolled me to the back, and I remember them shooting this stuff up to the IV, and it kind of stung a little bit. And that's all I remember. No, I remember them saying, "We're waiting on Dr. G." And I was like, "Dr. Gonzalez?" And he was like, "Yeah, your doctor's coming. He's going to perform the surgery." And I was like, "What?" Yes. So when he walked in, I just like, ultimately, I just felt like at home, like I felt at peace, like, okay, I know this guy, like, I'm comfortable now. So he was like, "Hey, Miss Larkin." I was like, "Hey." After they shot that stuff up, out. So I remember waking up. They were rolling me back to where I was. I remember waking up and I was choking, like literally choking on my spit. And so they was like, the nurses and everybody was super cool. Like the lady was even like, before she was like, "Is your feet cold?" She was like, "Are you okay?" Like they just kept coming by. And she was like, "Are you okay?" So the third lady that came by and checked on me, I was like, "My feet are cold." And she was like, "Let me get you some warm blankets." She got me some warm blankets, tucked my foot. She was like, "Are you good?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, this is way better than Parkland." So, yeah. So then the lady, they rolled me out. I was choking. Like, I couldn't breathe. Like, I had swallowed I guess I swallowed something the wrong way. I don't know. So she was like, "Once we get you back to the area, we'll get you something to drink." So I was like, cool. I was still like on morphine and stuff. So she gave me a little cup of water. So I was drinking that. So I was good. And she was like, "I'm going to go get, Tierra from the waiting room." So I was like, okay, cool. So Tierra came to the back, and we were sitting there talking or whatever. And I had to have somebody to take me because I couldn't operate a vehicle afterwards from the anesthesia. So after that, prior to that night, I had to fast. So I hadn't ate. Oh my God. I could eat or drink anything. So afterwards, I was like, "Take me to Chick-fil-A." So got the results back from that. I was good to go. Then on November 13th, a couple days later, I had a webinar with my food nutrition, my dietitian. She was super cool. Like, we started talking about college, where she graduated from. She was a young girl. We were talking about everything. And she was just like, "Girl, after this, I'm going to have to keep in touch with you." I was like, "Okay, girl. Just pass me, girl." So I did my psychologist via here. She gave me a pamphlet to read before. So I read that. So I was pretty much, she was like, "Oh my God, you know everything." Because she was like bringing up stuff. And I was like, "Oh yeah." Then December 12th, I had a follow-up visit. I forgot what I did on the follow-up visit. What did I do? Oh, the follow-up visit was basically just to finalize everything and tell me my last few steps. I hadn't took the sleep study test though. I thought I wasn't going to have to take it. So then December 12th, I did my follow-up visit and everything was pretty much in line. Then she pretty much was like, "Do you want to have the surgery at the end of the month?" And I was like, in my head, I was like, absolutely not. My birthday is December 14th. Thanksgiving is in a couple of weeks. I mean, oh no, that was before. No, it was my birthday, and then Christmas was in a couple of weeks. So I was just like, and New Year's, and my best friend was coming in town from California, so I knew we were gonna be eating and all kinds of stuff. So I was like, no, let's 86 that and let's wait. So I was like, I want to shoot for January, the beginning of the year. And she was like, okay. So we set December 12th, I think we set my surgery date for January 21st. So then she told me my liquid diet was going to start January 7th. So I was like, okay, cool. So now we're in January. I ended up getting a phone call saying that I needed to take a sleep study test. I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? So they were like, yeah, you can come in and do it. It's going to be $1,600. I was like, what? Y'all just not telling me this? So she was like, or you can do it at home sleep study test. I was like, let's do that. She was like, it's $125 with your insurance. I was like, well, how does it work? She was like, either we can mail it to you, you do it and then you mail it back, but your surgery's in 2 weeks. I was like, I need something faster. She was like, well, you can come and pick it up and then do it and then bring it back. So I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up going before work one morning to pick it up. And she was like, basically saying like my nails were, like the acrylic on my nails was going to be too thick for the sleep, because I had to put a thing on my finger. And she was like, she didn't think it was going to read it. So I spent that entire night, like literally trying to get the acrylic off. And I had just got a feel, so my nails were fresh. So I ended up having to go through like all my instruments and like drilling the nail off for like hours trying to get the acrylic off. Finally got it off. I ended up falling asleep that night and not even doing the sleep study test. So I went to the doctor the next day for my pre-ops work, which is January 9th. Let me tell y'all, that was an event. It was like a scavenger hunt. So I got to Medical City my appointment was at 10:45, but I left the house without all of my like forms and papers that I needed. So I had to turn around and go back home. So I called my doctor and I was like, hey guys, I've never been late. Like I'm normally early. They were like, it's okay, you're perfectly fine. So I was like, okay, cool. And so I ended up getting there probably like at 11:07, I think. And so I went in and they were like, hi. And I was like, hey, by this time, like I know everybody that works there. Stormy is my like nurse. She's super cool, down to earth. Renee, I call Renee every day because I'm on this 2-week liquid diet. So I'm like, hey, can I have this? Can I have that? So as soon as I walk in, I'm like, hey, Bree. And I'm like, hey, everybody. So I got there and I had to pay my balance for the surgery, well, my fee from Dr. Gonzalez. I paid that day. As well as I had to pay for them to send some documents out, $25. So I paid that, and then I ended up, I was talking to Renee about some things, because I was like, can I have this, and she was showing me different things, which leave it up to her. I can only have water and chicken broth. So, I sat back down, and as soon as I sat down, Stormy was like, come on, let's go to the back. So I was like, okay, cool. So I went to the back, and Stormy was talking. She weighed me, and by this time I had been on the liquid diet for like 3 days, and she weighed me as she normally does, and I was down 4 pounds since I started the liquid diet, but 6 pounds since I had last got weighed a couple weeks prior. So I was super excited about that. 6 pounds, I mean, it's not a lot. Probably was water weight, but I'm like, so I was down 6 pounds. I was pretty stoked about that. And so she pulled me into the room and she was like, I'm just going to go over all the paperwork, make sure everything is right, check off the list that you did everything. So I was like, cool. Me and Stormy are super cool. So it was like, we were shooting shit the whole time. And so I was signing stuff, initially stuff. I'll probably sign about like 15 pages of crap. And so just like different legal documents saying, do I give them permission to do a blood transplant if need be, emergency contact information, medical history information, different things. So then after I left there, after she finished talking to me, Dr. G came in and was looking over all my work. He was like, everything is good. You're good to go. Stormy's going to talk to you a little bit more. So I was like, cool. So he left. Stormy came. We went to Stormy's office, and she gave me all the paperwork, and she was like, now you're going to go downstairs to the registrar's office. I was like, okay, where's that? Like, I've never been to Medical City other than for this purpose. Like, I'm normally in Parkland or something. So I went downstairs to the registrar's office, and they gave me an iPad. As soon as I got there, it was like, fill this out. So I filled out the iPad for probably about maybe 5 or 6 minutes of information. Then they called me to this little clerical area. It's like a cubicle area, but it had a glass door. So I went in, and I'm like super, like any person I meet, I'm going to talk to you like, hi, how are you? How you doing today? Like, by the time I get up, we're going to probably be exchanging numbers. So the lady, she was really pretty. She was from Trinidad and Tobago, had really pretty hair. We chopped it up. We were talking for a long time about other kinds of stuff. And so while I was there, she was asking me like medical history again. I'm thinking, why the heck did I fill this out on the iPad if I gotta tell you? So she kept asking me a whole bunch of questions, different things like that. She gave me a wristband to put on. So I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna be here all day. So she gave me a wristband to put on with a scanner, like a barcode on it. She said, this is going to be yours. You'll get another one the day of surgery. So I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up, after talking with her for about like 20 minutes, she was like, now you're going to go upstairs to Building A. So I'm like, oh my God. So I left there, went to Building A. Building A, I walked in. They was like, tell me your name. I told them my name. They gave me a clipboard with more papers. So I'm like, are you kidding me? Can y'all not? This is the same facility. Why y'all not interchanging this? So I filled out. I'm super cool with them. Filled out the paperwork. Well, I had to use the restroom. So I was like, can I use the restroom? She was like, actually, go ahead and take a urine test because they have to test you to make sure you're not pregnant. So I took a urine test, and on my way to the front, this nurse was like, hey, where are you going? And I was like, to the waiting room. He was like, come here. So I went with him. He was like, sit down. I was like, I have to still fill out my paperwork. He was like, no, sit down. I was like, okay. So another lady walked in. I guess they were switching shifts. And she was like, girl, don't let him talk to you like that. And so we was laughing and shit. He was like, you ain't in this. And I was like, don't talk to her like that. So we go double teaming him. So he ended up leaving for his shift. And she was talking to me or whatever. But then they didn't have my paperwork ready for my blood to get drawn. So she was like, yeah, just go way back in the waiting room. And I'm thinking in my head, I was telling y'all that, like, I need to go back to the waiting room. She was like, girl, he don't know what he's talking about. Go to the waiting room. So I went back to the waiting room, filled out the rest of the paperwork. And then I went, and then as soon as I filled out the paperwork, she called me to the back. She pulled like 4 things of blood, 4 tubes of blood. Then she was like, sit here. The RN is going to come. No, it was another lady. Another lady's going to come. She's going to do an EKG on you. I'm like, oh my God. So I leave from, she scanned my wristband. I feel like a dog. She scanned my wristband and then put all the tubes in the urine and stuff and whatever. And another lady came and she's like, can I scan your wristband? So I'm like, yeah. So she scanned my wristband and she was like, you're going to follow me. So she takes me to this room and she asked me to lift up my shirt. And so she hooks up all these things to my chest. She's like, I'm going to do an EKG on you real quick. And I'm like, okay. So she performed the EKG. It took literally maybe like 15 minutes. We were cool, shooting shit. She was like, okay, now you're going to leave and you're going to talk to the RN. So I'm like, oh my God. So by this time it's like 1:30. So I go in, it's an Indian lady. She escorts me to her office. And so there we're filling out medical history for the hospital. So she goes through all these questions. Have you ever had diabetes, high cholesterol, this, thyroids, this? I'm like, no. Have you ever had surgery? I'm like, does tonsils removed count? Like, does the tooth being pulled count? Does the EGD test that I had a couple weeks ago count? That's the only surgeries I really ever had. Like, my medical history is just pretty, like... So she was like, did your mom have this? Does your dad have this? Does this run in the family? Blah, blah. So after, like... 20 minutes of those questions. She gave me some brochures. She gave me the soap that I have to use. I have to bathe in 4 to 5 days prior to surgery. She gave me the list of soap that I needed. The stuff I had to drink the night before the surgery. And then she ended up. It was really hard to understand her, but she ended up talking to me. She was trying to get a hold of the lady that was over the bariatric surgery, but she didn't answer her phone in her office. So we kept talking, and she ended up giving me the instructions for the day of surgery. Like, surgery is at 8, but we need you to be here at 6. She gave me a map of where my, like, aunt and everybody, because, like, I have a lot of people that's coming for the surgery. So she gave me a map for them to where they park, where they go. The different instructions for me, how I was going to go, how I was going to get released, or when I was going to get released, if I could get released, different things like that. After that, she gave me parking passes, and then she was like, so I'm thinking in my head, I'm about to go. No. She was like, now you're going to go upstairs for x-rays. So I'm like, forget my plans for today. So I left there, and I went to meet, she sent me upstairs to another floor. No, I went back downstairs. And I went to this room, and this guy, she walked me to this room, actually. This guy was like, we're going to do some x-rays on your chest and your back and your shoulders. I was like, okay, cool. So he was like, are you tired? I was like, no. So he scanned my thing, scanned my wristband. And so it was this room, and it was like a big machine. And, like, you put your chest up against the machine, and he, like, literally, you breathe in, and he take a picture, like, through this machine, and you hear it go, and then you have to turn another way, and he's taking the pictures. But I had to, like, remove my bra because you couldn't have wires or plastic or anything. So we were talking, and he was like, how's your day going? I guess, you know, kind of trying to make it not so awkward. And so then after that, I was like, it was good. So that was literally maybe, like, 10 minutes at the most. He was like, let me walk you out. And I was like, is this it? And he was like, yeah, this is it. I was like, thank you, Jesus. So I left there, and he walked me to the hallway, and then I was able to leave. So that was the 9th, which was a couple days ago, because today is officially the 12th of January. So I'm due to have surgery January 21st. So I'm roughly 8 days away from surgery. I'm on my 2-week liquid diet right now, and yeah. I'll do another video to talk about my liquid diet. This video is pretty long. Just an introduction of everything, like with the process I did, everything I had to do to where I am to this point, and then like I record a couple days before the surgery. I'll record the day of surgery as much as I can. And then I'll start to do like post-week videos just to keep you guys updated. But yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and have a good evening.